All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again as we have got SMC Tactical versus Beginners in the second round of this Onward Season 8 Championship Series. I am joined again by NightFiree and Mr. Sleepy on the deck. Gentlemen, are you ready for what we've got coming up here in just a few moments?
Woo! I'm ready to go here. This is gonna be
Wow. Okay. All right.
That went.
If we could just.
That's fun.
If we could.
The hype overload there on Sleepy's part, I think. We literally broke him. And now I guess the secret's out. He is actually a casting robot. Yeah. And we're just going to have to put some gears in him and fix him. Yeah. He's busted.
Back to the shop. All right. Well, shenanigans aside, we've been keeping the folks at home on pins and needles for too long, so we're just going to plow through the bans, and then we're going to let the teams know that they can start. So, the away team bans first, which is Beginners in this case, and their ban is coming out as Cargo. That will be the first, and then the ban for the home team SMC is coming out as no surprise, Downfall. Yet again, either of those surprise you guys? I mean, does Beginners ban surprise you? Because obviously SMCs is a pretty standard ban for them these days.
It's a pretty standard ban against Beginners in general, but no, I can't really say Beginners ban surprises me either. I mean, they play this game to win it, so there's no surprise when they pick anything to me.
I'm more interested in our map pick, honestly.
Yeah,
the map pick for the first round is going to be Tanker, and it is seemingly SMC's pick, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, definitely an interesting choice. I mean, neither of these teams are slouches on this map, but picking into offense on it, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right play here. I feel like Beginners have had a strong defense. They have been one of the top teams on this map consistently. I don't know. I don't know if this was the right way to go about this, but we will see because we are getting ourselves into our series here very shortly. We'll just let the teams know that there is a green light.
Will we SMC?
Yeah, we will definitely SMC. how this Beginners. All right, we have given the green light to the teams, and we should be underway here shortly.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't know. I think I think I'm gonna have to go with SMC for this first map before it starts. You know, this is something that this map they've looked so good on. You know, in previous series, they have great strategies that are hard to counter, and they're prepared for the counters to those strategies as well. So I think this map is going to be a tough one for Beginners to wrestle away from SMC, but maybe their slow play style will, their slow methodical play style will pay off as we get into this first round.
Yeah, the first round is getting underway. Everybody is loaded in. Fantastic. Just had to give them a moment, but round one is underway. We have got SMC on the offense, as we mentioned, and Beginners already piling the smokes into the middle of the map.
The Woods brothers were, I don't know if they were passing each other equipment or playing patty cake there at the start of the round. But
this is
more smokes come out there at the start.
This defensive smoke start is going to give Smoils an advantage as he finds Beefy early out the gate. Homecake will find Killinger, and Landon finds Kev already, and 2 down for Beginners as they made their initial push down to the middle. Tripp is going to find another.
Wow,
in Woods
nice
43.
coverage there on the flank from Tripp. He protects out Homecake. They're going to blow their wad a little too soon on the C4. The C4 is now gone, but Woods is going to be looking for Homecake. Homecake sees one. Smoils then finds him on the other side, but Tripp now aware of at least one of their positions. A lot of communications coming out from the SMC side, really showing the C in their communicate, in their name does mean communicate.
Yeah, now Icy Woods and Smoils, the last 2 remaining. That smoke placement is fantastic. It's gonna
great placement there.
Really gonna
another one
cause
coming out
some
looks
problems.
good, but oh wow, Woods finding Soda. That's gonna be a problem. That's the LMG coverage. Wouldn't be surprised if Woods manages to reach out and relocate that other smoke.
Now we'll focus on Tripp, our resident caster, getting close to the inside middle. Woods should be checking this angle. It's going to be a tough push to make, and smokes continue to pour in I don't know, those initial...
bad lay on that one. Smoil still have an angle. Oh, yeah, the fire on the trip. That might be the press for Icy Woods to come up and take the other side, but he's not going to. Woods does find Trip, and now it's a 1v2 all alone. Landon is. Here's Icy Woods. He's going to see the look. Landon's going to find Woods. Oh, is he going to get too overconfident? Is he going to go for the cap? Here comes Smoils behind Landon. Will he hear it? Smoils will find Landon, and Beginners will take their defensive round and 1 point here on Tanker.
They were down at least one man at some point there, Beginners, and able to claw their way back. Great awareness by Smoils and Icy Woods on those rotations early to find those picks. I mean, they stayed cool in a situation that would incite panic in even the most ready of teams. I don't think they had a very good count. There was sort of quick action there. I don't know how many call-outs actually came out, but they did a great job of holding that down with just the two-man push. And Landon was mighty close. I'm surprised he didn't hear Smoils' rotation behind him.
Yeah, I think Smoils capitalized on the peeker's advantage there. He was full sprinting and he committed to it. He didn't sprint up to the crater, stop, consider peeking, give Landon any time to adjust. And I think Landon was considering potentially a cap there. He was pretty dang close to the objective on the corner. He was checking his front to make sure nobody was there. And so I think he might have just kind of been caught in a limbo thought process, if you will. He was considerate. He was looking for that final pick. He was looking for the cap, and then he gets flanked. A lot to be processing there in that quick moment, and it was just a good overall push there to get Beginners that first round, but just barely. If we keep this pace up for the rest of the series, this is certainly going to deliver as a very, very good semifinals matchup.
Yeah, I think this was the one on everyone's mind coming into this weekend, was how this one was going to shake out. I mean, two, sort of titans of the standings this season, and that first round, yeah, if that's indicative of the rest of the game, we're gonna be neck deep in some action here. Beginners kicking off their offensive round now in round 2. We'll see what kind of approach they decide to take. They are opting for a similar approach, 2 on the left, 3 on the right, 2 going down, and Beefy is going to be the one going down again, as Icy Woods will find him this time. Trip looking for the res there is in danger.
Let's get it though with some brazen brass cojones.
There are some, there's just gunfire all over this map. We're swapping between players as they're sending sort of pre-fire down. You can see on the overhead map, if we take a quick look at it, that firing line from the Beginners just in spawn, looking for those long-range picks. So far, they have not been lucky enough.
Ooh, that nade, if it would have just made it over that double-stacked container on that northern side of the map, it would have been a great catch onto one of the defenders. But now we're back to a 5v5 with that brazen res from Trip. Oh, and the long-range grenade from Woods takes down Landon. He'll still be up, but Woods will find Pwnecake, who was out on the rush for the res.
It's so weird to see SMC even peeking right now, because this is just like standard Beginners. They're all posted up at their spawn. They're all holding angles, waiting for this defense to peek. And at this point, when you're playing against Beginners, you should know this is how they play. There's no reason to be checking these angles, looking for early kills until, this is, I would say, start getting aggressive on your peaks with a minute 30, when you know the push is going to start coming in.
That nade was so close. Man. That nade was so close. Almost
I thought it actually rolled onto their rooftop and was like, that's a double right there. That's beautiful. But man, no, sorry.
That would have been great. What's interesting about this offense now is that they have forced SMC out of the bottom half of the map. They have pushed them out with that early pick on Beefy and that sort of barely res by Trip. Then now Beginners have control of both levels. They don't quite know it yet, but they're able to approach from both sides with little to no resistance from SMC. If that's a coordinated push that's going to come out top and bottom at the same time, that will absolutely overwhelm this SMC defense.
I'm assuming that is the plan here. Some more fire from one of the brothers. Beefy, though, needs to be careful. He's already been down once. Just a little bit of a winger will take him down.
Oh my goodness, these nades. I mean, they're just, that one was on it, just
Yeah.
not quite where it needed to be.
You can tell they're trying to thread that needle in the coverage on that top story. At the very least, they want to get up over it and land a nade right where Smoils and Woods are. It's a good thought process, and it would certainly get a nice double, maybe even insta-kill one or two of them, but it's such a hard nade to get. You have to get past the rails, you have to throw it so incredibly far from the center of the map. It's utility essentially getting wasted here that maybe could have been utilized when you know the push is going to be coming at a minute 30 or a minute left.
I thought we were already at that point, NightFiree, and then I looked.
No, we got plenty of time left.
They're so close. They could just, start already.
Yeah, so the benefit of this beginner's offense that I'm sort of noticing as I kind of hover and watch, they're getting constant ideas about where the defense is moving to. Like, SMC is constantly rotating, but I'm hearing the call-outs consistently. Kev was giving information about Captain Soda, when he threw that nade and then backed off. I mean, they're painting a visual picture, sort of a mental picture of where the defense is, so when their approach comes, they'll know, hey, they're likely going to be in maybe these 2 or 3 different corners. They don't have to check the entire map. So it does make sense in this context to sort of stick a little bit longer. And again, SMC is playing into their hands by rotating unnecessarily, by pushing out aggressively like they had. It's gonna be a tough defense for them to hold, especially being a man down already.
Well, we'll see as we kind of ratchet down towards the minute-and-a-half mark here. Only a few shots have really come out, and those are mostly from the beginners. They've taken down their SMC targets. Beefy's on a 1-hit right now, and the beginners haven't lost anyone, though a few great grenades did come out from the SMC side, in which, I don't know, man, could be robbed in that case. But either way, yeah, they're going to have to deal with a 5-man push, and it sounds like it's about to start right now as Killinger takes the lead down in the tunnels. He's going to start pushing his way out the northern side of the ship, starboard side of the ship.
Before this push comes in, take a quick look at the overhead defense. They got 2 watching their flank because they are concerned that beginners have been sending one into the backside this entire time. So they have to invest resources to watch their flank, and it does look like actually Killinger and Woods are on a a full sprint. Woods actually catches
Woods. That was a beautiful play, just out like fluid to find Trip, but the refract from Beefy is real. He better. Oh no, he's not going to be paying attention, and Beefy's going to run out of the room. What just happened? Now the res is going to come in. Oh, he does get the res, but Beefy's going to find 2 in return. SMC down to a 1v1. Last mating member is going to be Killinger. He's on the backside. He's going to be able to see Beefy first. No, Beefy manages to get through with the smoke. He doesn't hear the shots. And Killinger takes down Beefy with only a few seconds to spare. Beginners take their second round and go up here on map number 1.
Do these SMC guys have their headphones on backwards?
I know, that is exactly what I just thought, because he looked completely the opposite way.
You got Landon not checking that corner off the full sprint around it the round before that, and then here not even reacting to those shots, which are enemy gunfight. Both these teams are so familiar with this game that they can identify guns off of the sound of the off the sound of the rifle, so they know, okay, my friendly's taking shots to my left. That's an enemy in front of me. He should have known that that was an enemy shooting at him behind him, and that certainly was not friendly fire going over his shoulder. And it's just that smoke really actually paying off for beginners to help them grab that second round. And now SMC are on the back foot. They've been doing well. They've been playing good. They have Landon at 4-2, Mr. Beefy at 2-2. Everybody's been finding kills. We've been coming down to 1v1s each round, but they need to win that final 1v1 if they want to stay on here. And this is a must-win, in my opinion. If they let beginners grab this, it's going to be tough for that 3-0 comeback.
Well, it is a tough objective to necessarily just walk right up and take. We are downstairs in the cargo hold, so that's not going to be an easy ask necessarily, but I've seen SMC do it. I have seen them get caps here. So we'll just have to see. Trip and Mr. Beefy going to be rocking down that port side.
Killinger's setting up the smoke in the range there. I wonder if he's just trying to... Yeah, it looks like they're baiting some sort of a push. I wonder if they're just trying to obfuscate their positioning as they go through. Ponecake's going to be the first one to find a pick as Icy Woods rotates up top and gets punished as a result. Beginners, the first one's down.
That is SMC watching footage, because that is exactly what Woods has done before on this objective. He sprinted upstairs and tried to be a threat up on that upper level, and he was waiting for him around the door. So that is just textbook doing your research and being ready for beginners.
Woods narrowly avoiding that frag there. Looks like Woods set that smoke up against the wall. An interesting choice there, and Beefy will unfortunately find one, and that is going to cause all kinds of havoc as Woods has the frag ready, and he finds 3.
Wow, a triple from Kev. Was it Kev or Woods?
No, Woods. It was Woods 43 okay. On the inside corner. Just tossed it in after he heard the down.
Buffet. Oh, it's just a buffet inside there.
There's still one res available. We're going to turn our attention here to the west as Ponecake found his way into the backside. Captain Soda's drawing some information, but Smoils gives him a a little explosion in return, and that is going to be it for Captain Soda. Ponecake, the last one left for... Ponecake has all the information he needs right now to grab these first 2 picks. He finds one. He hits Smoils through the boxes, but gives up the angle, and now the defense is all over him. He has got to get out of there.
Yeah, you got to get out of there.
He's got 4 minutes, so he has plenty of time to reroute, relocate. There's no rush. SMC not lingering around on the clock here, but Ponecake's actually not shifting around.
I don't think he heard you. He's going to commit to this. Maybe he wants to. I wonder if he's just going to wait to make them think he's rotated. You know, that sort of 200 IQ play.
Make you think I'm thinking this thinking thing?
Exactly, yeah. Mind games are afoot here in this SMC beginners match, and we're only into round 3. We're not even close to done yet. As Ponecake, I think he's expecting them to come looking for him as well, which...
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a chase aspect involved there. They're not doing it, though. They are locked in solid on the objective.
That Kev angle is going to be the hardest to dethrone. He has such a good little head peek up over that white crate. Ponecake is going to have to nail some amazing shots if he wants to grab him. And he has to get him first, then he can turn his attention to the rest of the team. The 3v1 is possible here, but it's going to be a tall order with Woods with the shield.
He's got to maximize his time from now on, and it's going to have to be Kev getting picked here soon so that he has the time to rotate out of the door. He's not going to be able to use this door anymore once he shoots again. Once he shoots again, they're just going to lock down on him.
He's got the right idea, but he does need to... I mean, what's interesting here is that beginners did not really commit anyone to watching the door. Like, it seems like they've definitely taken the rotation bait that Ponecake had set up there.
Oh, can he see any part of Woods there behind that box? No, all he sees is shield. He gets a kneecap. He finds Smoils. Now he's going for Kev. Kev manages to stay alive. Now the smoke comes out. He's going to try and relocate now. Maybe.
No,
I don't know. Hell, he might go through the smoke.
He's just going to...
Who knows what Ponecake's going to do? Tune in next week on Dragon Ball. I'm not saying on.
Yeah, don't do that. But Smoils is going to get the revive from his teammate. And that is going to put it at 2 minutes, 3 remaining members of the defense to deal with.
Not looking so hot here on Tanker, I tell you.
How does Smoils have that much HP? He got tagged once by Ponecake. He would have had to syringe. Then he gets down.
Well, there's also...
body armor will introduce some extra stuff, so I wonder if he's...
He also got hit by pen. By penetration, and you know there are a couple times where your character makes that winging noise, like that winged noise where you've been hit, but it just clears up right away, like you didn't actually have to heal or anything like that.
I think it is reduced damage on penetration as well, so you do need more shots to take someone down through a box. Well, the math probably just adding up that way, but Ponecake, he's got 75 seconds left. He's got 3 defenders to deal with. He may think he's only got 2 if he thinks Smoils was a full-on kill, but I'm sure he heard the audio there. He's prepping for this corner peek.
He makes just the slightest noise and Smoils is going to pop out, and he's not going to be expecting it. Or he is.
No, I don't think he is. I think he just
has no idea where they could be at this point. I mean, no matter how much tape you watch, when things have gone down like this and things change, oh, and there's the peak. Smoils grabs the trade win, and beginners take their 3rd point to put them up on a very handsome lead here on our first map of the series.
I mean, this is going against everything that we keep predicting. Like, every time we have called something, I mean, we are casters cursing the absolute pants off of these matchups. I mean, to be fair, we did split our predictions down the middle for overall wins, but getting into these series, I mean, yeah, I expected SMC to be doing far more damage than they are right now. And
well, that last round with standing, they have, right? Like, they've taken it to them. And honestly, they were poised pretty well there with Pomecake's early pick onto the Woods rush. But it just kind of fell out. It just plundered with that triple grenade downstairs, man. That was it. That play was over.
Wow, this is a quick start here for our 2 teams. I don't think they used up the whole timer there.
I'm going down the north. I'm not going to get on,
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't step in each other. Don't step in each other.
It's fine.
Killinger running the shield, pushing down through basically the same play as Trip, and Trip doing the same thing Killinger did, except not putting a smoke down. But Killinger's not going to make it very far, as Pwnecake was ready for that, and the frag coming out from Killinger was the original down for beginners, and that is going to leave beginners down a man here, as Woods 43 is in quite a firefight for his life. A frag coming out from one end, and then one as a response.
This is a beginner's fast push right here, and it is not paying off for them as Beefy finds Woods with a nice tight angle. And I mean, yeah, beginners dropping like flies as they try and apply the pressure. SMC prepared for something like this, surprisingly.
Yeah, beginners not wasting any time getting their downs either. They are going in immediately and double tap.
Landon picks up the shield and able to confirm everything on that south hallway now. The only 2 remaining are Kev and Smoils, and they are upstairs. They haven't even made it down. I think this play was a little desynced in that they did not make their push up to those stairs faster than Killinger and the Woods brothers made theirs down in the middle. And of course, I don't think they expected to die, but pretty intense little firefights in those hallways early on.
Yeah, there were.
Just a huge start for SMC. I mean, something that beginners could afford. You know, they obviously wanted to try and apply pressure, maybe catch SMC off guard and just really sweep this first map 4-0. That obviously didn't quite pay off how they were hoping to. Now beginners are down to 2. And, you know, it's going to be hard for this 2v5 to come together. Maybe it's doable if SMC peak and get a little over-aggressive, a little overconfident off of their early lead. Some magic could happen for beginners, but SMC really just need to stay tucked in. And on this objective, it's going to be tough to win a 2v5.
I mean, SMC just will not stop talking.
Yeah, they just non-stop chatterboxes right now.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, the communication is important, but the problem is that the beginners can basically by audio track where you are at any given point in time. So there's a lot of information there for Kev and Smoils to use. More Kev than Smoils, as Smoils has backed off and is sort of recentering his approach through that north tunnel, and now Kev gives up on his angle as well.
Smoils laying down some suppressive there.
It's little moments like that where if that pick had gone in the way of Smoils, that's how beginners get back into this game, just by kind of snagging 1 or 2 on the sides here and there.
Yep, absolutely right. Take small little chunks off the larger body, they'll be able to find themselves in and even the playing field. But they're gonna have to take really risky peeks here. That grenade from Smoils though is gonna be good, and Soda's gonna go down. It's not dead though. Smoils gonna be quick to the rush up. Yeah, and there's the double tap. Smoils takes down Soda, and here we go. Here's the start of it all. They've still got 245 on the board. They've got enough time to take some more chunks out, but they've immediately pulled back out. Landon taking that Marsoc shield from off one of the dead bodies earlier in the round.
Yeah, Beefy was a little late on his rotation to check for Smoils. Smoils getting out of that dangerous situation exactly when he needed to.
I was gonna say SMC's going on the hunt, and I'm not sure that's gonna work out for them because oftentimes that ends up putting you right in their crosshairs as you run blindly around a corner where you don't know how long it's been since someone's been there, or if they're sitting in another corner watching you coming in that doorway.
Kev now priming the frag here. Smoils finds another in Beefy. And that's 2 down already, starting to even things out. The frags come out. They're not going to find any purchase here.
Why go out? Why peek? Why do anything that's not you and involving you holding tight angles inside objective room? When you have 5v2, you just don't need to risk it, especially when you need to win this round, when the map relies on this round. You would think patience would be something that SMC could practice here, but beginner is now in a 2v3. I mean, it's...
Maybe they just want to get the off this map. Maybe they're just done with it. They're just
this is their choice.
Yeah, this
their map pick.
They want to stay on it. I think that this is, if they believe that this would give them enough of an advantage, I can't imagine they're trying to rush through this.
I think they're hoping for another topside objective for a rush cap. I think that's what SMC have been banking on. I think they've been hoping for their speed and aggression to play out for a miracle rush cap on top deck. And it hasn't worked. So far, the top objective has been shut down. There's one more up there that we haven't played yet.
Trip makes the peek, and Smoils rounds the corner at the wrong time, and now Kev, the last one left. Yeah, good heads-up play there. Kev's going to be pushing through the middle, but Pwnecake will be the one that finds it and give SMC their first round win of the series so far.
I mean, the KDs are so confusing. If you were to think, if you looked at the scoreline like the KDs, you just wouldn't be able to match it up. You'd think SMC is up 3-1, but it's just they just haven't been having the chips fall where they need to for them, and maybe they can start to come back. I mean, they're certainly contending in this round, even though the score is now 3-1 and it was 3-0. They've been very close every one of those rounds they've lost. So, like I said, if they can just win the last half of these maps more consistently, or rounds more consistently, then they can take this map. But that long comeback is certainly going to be, it's a long road for them.
It is, and against a tough team, but they did get their hopes, well, what I'm assuming is their hopes with the aggressiveness of the team, and they now have an up-deck objective. They can get to it quickly. If they can manage to pull off a well-orchestrated shock and awe attack on this objective, get a quick cap, it's back to a 3-3. And we go into the last round there on defense, sort of like what we had in the last game. Unfortunately, G-Men weren't able to pull that out. What will SMC be able to do as they have their do or die round here on map number 1 of our series on Cargo?
It's a family show. I'm gonna go shoot a dude in the head.
Trip giving away all the SMC strategies. He's gonna go shoot someone in the head.
No, he said it's a family show, so I'm gonna go shoot a dude in the head.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, look at this defense. 3 underground. They're pushing underground. They're going to come up from the stairs trying to flank SMC.
Oh, SMC's not moving fast enough for this either. They're going to come up from around. They better be able to hear it. The smokes are out near enough to them. Oh, God, this is...
Yeah, this is
like
interesting.
300 level
Challenger's
IQ
gonna
play
find
here.
the first.
There's
Trip.
the first one.
Trip looks for
Oh, he
both.
shut down 2. Oh, and there's Pwnecake to shut down the third one. The third push is down. There's only 1 remaining member. This could be a cat play now. A 3v1 could easily be a distraction, but it looks like Smoils is going to go on the rush, and SMC are not going to turn down a point to get things turned around here.
That was so risky on the beginner's
Wow.
side. They're playing with fire
But it almost
here.
worked.
It
It
did.
almost worked. If Trip hadn't have gotten that double, they would have at least pulled 2 down out of that firefight easy.
I mean, to be honest, there was no way Trip wasn't going to get that double. Like, they were not, I don't think they were
right
ready
on
for
top of
anybody
each other.
outside. Nobody was, they didn't know which way to look when they came up. They were both checking the front corners. I mean, it was a
Are you
good...
guys you watching this right now? Trip is pillaging the enemy, and he's tossing the nades to
Yeah, I see it.
to Huck.
It's just raining him down on the... There's the smoke. They need to play for this cap, man. They've got the advantage. They've got the time. Just do it.
Oh, Pwnecake had the shot there on Smoils. He's chasing. He doesn't get him through the box. He peeks the other side. Smoils doesn't have the angle, and Pwnecake will secure the second round as SMC stops the bleeding and starts, I don't know, starts causing some bleeding, I guess.
It's interesting to see beginners get risky with their plays on these last 2 rounds. They played fast on offense, and then they tried something really, innovative for beginner for this squad. I've never seen anything like that out of them the entire regular season. So that was surprising to see because they're trying to solidify this map, but they've given now these 2 rounds, and I think that's too many. You know, I understand trying something out when it's 3-1, but to get aggressive like that on this map in particular, I guess it makes sense, right? They were expecting SMC to be fast pushing. They were expecting an easy come up the stairs with backs exposed. But SMC kind of switched up their timing a little bit, and it was just it just didn't pay off for beginners. Now they go on to defense. What kind of strategy are beginners going to be able to break out on this upstairs objective? It's curious. That's certainly giving SMC a little bit more confidence. And then to also, on top of that, do these risky plays while they've been barely winning the rounds is interesting to me as well. You would think they'd want to stick with how they've been barely winning and not try something new that obviously isn't working out for them.
I think the double commitment on those stairs was the biggest mistake. I think both of them trying to push up the stairs at the same time, giving Trip that sort of easy collateral that found him 2 kills. If they'd have just sent one up, watched for the gunfire, right? If he'd have been able to dial in Trip's position, the second could have come up the stairs, found that refrag, maybe caused a little bit more damage on the back line, but either way, we have got ourselves some gameplay to get into as round 5 is underway. SMC climbing their way back up, clawing their way back up from a 3-0 scoreline.
5, 4, 3,
Now they have got...
2, 1.
Wow, they've shooting on timing. There is pre-fire coming down from both sides as Ponecake and Beefy send rounds down their way, and now beginners on the same objective. They have a pretty similar setup to what we saw SMC doing, but SMC not opting for any sort of aggressive defense. Couple of decent little frags coming out as we're not going to find any real resistance down low as Smoils and Killinger make their push that way. Kev and the Woods brothers up top.
Yeah, very akin to their offensive strategy on the last upstairs objective. Obviously, this time they don't have the height that they had the advantage of, but they've got this line that they set up in the middle of the map that they're just sort of sitting at and waiting to see if they can find picks. Killinger is pushing forward a little bit, though, underground.
Yeah, he's getting to that midway point, and he's really not going to find any resistance until he comes up in that spawn side. I think he's running recon, from what it sounds like, trying to listen for positioning and maybe call it out.
Seems only appropriate for the beginners, right?
Yeah, that is sort of their modus operandi. They do like having all of their information as soon as they, or as much as they can. Those grenades a little bit too short and too long, respectively. SMC singing while on defense.
Yeah, the worst rendition of West Virginia I have ever heard.
Yeah, probably not the right stage for this, and hopefully...
Poncake's trying to sing it in Canadian.
In Canadian?
Sounds terrible.
We're going to get a subtitle just for the VOD on YouTube that says sings
Does anyone
in Canadian.
speak Canadian, by the way? Because they need to get subtitles for future casts. So any help and contributions to subtitling the streams would be appreciated.
Indeed, we are continuing to tick down the clock as beginners play their patient game. The furthest advanced is Smoils on the downstairs in their spawn. I wonder, I mean, Trip is basically assigned to watching those stairs.
I heard 2.5.
Even Trip saying that understanding Canadian is difficult. And while we've got a little bit of time here and beginners get their push set up, I do want to thank our sponsors, ProTube VR and VR Cover. Thank you to those two fine establishments for providing the prizes that these teams are duking it out for and for supporting the league for as long as they have. We do very much appreciate it. Go check their stuff out
Okay, I see one right side building is looking at.
when you get the chance.
Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see one right side building is looking at. Okay, I see
side stair building.
Yeah.
Or right side superstructure.
In the middle. They're still halfway up.
Yeah, so the call-outs there coming out. Beefy able to spot out Kev in his window position, sort of midway up the map. And
2.5, and Smoils doing what Smoils does, and that's get into position really early and now just sit and wait for his team. But man, that C4 placement, that's right on the other side of his position. It's going to be interesting to see how that's dealt with. It's the second Trip hears noise down there, or he sees the first inkling of a helmet on that corner. That trigger's going off, and if there's more than one beginner right there, that's exactly what SMC are going to be hoping for.
yeah, 2 minutes down. We should be seeing our push here just about now, as I hear the pulling of pins on smoke grenades, I imagine.
Well, that one's going overboard.
Ooh, and that's gonna find Landon on a nice little air burst. Captain Soda also in trouble, and now the smokes rain in. It's gonna be tough to get that res.
Oh, and Trip's got to rotate off his position. Smoils is going to manage to get by his C4. Ponecake finds Woods 43 as Trip reses Landon on the backside. It's still 5v3 now as the Ponecake finds another one, but Smoils is going to come out from downstairs. He's not going to have seen... Oh no, the beginners are on the objective. This is a cap. Kev is on the objective. Landon's coming to the backside. Oh, he's going to save it at just the right time. It's a 3v1 now. Killinger's all by himself on the objective, and there's Mr. Beefy on the backside. SMC take their third round in a row. They stopped the bleeding. They've come back. It's a tie map here in the first of our series.
A fantastic play there by beginners, but Ponecake was really the wrench in that plan. Picking up the Woods brothers the way he did. I mean, he was rotating like a madman. Make fun of him for his Canadian all you want, but the man is playing a solid game of Onward today as he picks up 10 kills so far on the game, and instrumental in shutting down the beginners' push there on the offense. But that was definitely almost a cap. I mean, you know, almost a cap is not a
rotation,
cap, but
yeah, exactly. Horseshoes and hand grenades, right? But no, Landon's rotation in that moment was absolutely crucial. Kev had already had what I would have said was way too much time already to himself. Like, if any other team wouldn't have made that, I don't know, you know, it's one of those things in the moment, the pressure's on, it's much more difficult to do than when you're practicing it in scrims and stuff like that. But man, oh man, did Landon save that one, because Kev was probably a digit away, a button away from literally probably pressing the send button as Landon came around there.
It was too close, I think, for comfort. I don't think when they rewatch the cast, they're gonna notice, SMC's gonna notice exactly how down to the wire this was on that last play. That would have sealed the deal for beginners in a big way. But SMC now on the offense, looking to maybe take this map away in a surprise reversal from an 0-3 to a 3-3, and potentially taking the first map of the series away from beginners that has been playing pretty well.
Yeah. While we have a little time, I want to highlight the beginner's defense strategy here. On this objective in particular, you're always going to set up 3 on these windows. The window's impenetrable, but the strategy here is either thread nades into those doorways, try and get the kills there as we see a little firefight on the side, or you smoke the front windows and then push. And I do anticipate we'll see a heavy smoke push out of this squad, or they'll have to go underground.
When I see Woods, that first pick, Ponecake, the absolute MVP.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
What an absolute banger of a refrag nade that was.
Wow! What the f just happened?
Yeah, that was a fantastic toss by the offense. Landon now in a firefight with Kev. Will we be seeing the same?
Hey,
Rip headset users, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, here it is. The smoke's coming out. They're going to deny vision out the windows. Then that's going to allow them to push, and it's going to force the peeking. You see Kev there checking the window with a nade. He's concerned now, and these smokes are going to deny the vision as BP pushes up.
Yeah, great call, NightFiree. That's exactly what's happened, and the pressure on the door has kept Kev back, but they still can't really smoke. Smoils and Soda will trade on the side. That's the 2 LMG gunners down, but it looks like Killinger's on a quick rush for the refrag. He's probably going to double tap Soda here. fight still going on in the front, though, as Beefy rushes in and finds Kev.
He's unnoticed. Yeah, he's in there secret.
He's on the back side.
He's not.
Yeah, I think they found him.
Trip goes down as well outside, and he's been double tapped. Now it's Landon, and Beginners, with a solid comeback there in this round, managed to squeak it out with 1 point and take the map 4-3. And we move on to our second in our series best of 3.
That was not what I had expected from SMC, but I suppose is about par for the course. I don't know that they took that as seriously as they maybe should have.
I just don't. Beefy was in such a good spot, right? He could have gotten that kill, and as soon as he got that kill, he should have stood up, sprinted into the room that was just across from him, and then you get inside that little corner where you're a cap threat. So you force the enemy team to push you. You know when they're coming. You hear the footsteps, and then you can take them down. But he just kind of tucked into the corner. Maybe wasn't, I don't know, anticipating that rotation out of Beginners to come charging at him. But that got real dangerous for a second there, and Beginners managed to rotate with a great rotation, denying SMC the ability to get that cap.
Yeah, that was, I think some of those smoke placements definitely were not ideal. I thought I saw one land upright at one of the doors.
It did right at the door.
I mean, well, that could not have been any worse. So that if that had landed to the left, if that had landed facing left, that would have denied the vision on where Trip and Landon were the final kills. Like, that could have been a way for that south side to push through, and pretty much by RNG, they just did not get, the smoke roll that they wanted, and Beginners able to capitalize overall. And now the second map has been decided, and we are taking the ladies and gentlemen at home to a fantastic clap. You should for a fantastic map. It is in Quarantine. Quarantine is going to be our second map.
Come on, Peter.
Yeah, it is going to be a fantastic game. This is a fantastic map, and is really going to showcase
how fantastic these teams are. Yeah,
that's the strengths and weaknesses of these maps. Can you not? Okay, can you not?
No.
In my intros, unbelievable. I'm about to just step away from solo casting.
I mean, step into solo casting.
Yeah, it just leaves us, kicks us both out.
Welcome everyone to the Noman Casting League.
Exactly. No,
just me all by myself all the time because I hate people.
I think we've been seeing, so we've mostly just seen so far in the G-Men and Vikings game and in the first map of this series, sort of smaller, tighter maps. But right, Bazaar is kind of in that mid-rangey feel, but still a lot of CQB.
Yes.
There has not yet been a long-range map, and so I'm interested to see what Beginners do. This is their choice, as they will kick it off on offense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect here, and I don't think SMC knows what to expect here, because if we're seeing new plays from the Beginners on Tanker, Quarantine is going to afford far more opportunities for innovation than a map as small as Tanker is. I don't know. What are you guys feeling for this map, NightFiree?
I think Beginners play actually their strategy and how the pacing and the way they play works very well with this map. It's wide enough where what they'll do. What objective are we starting off with? Because I can basically tell you their play.
Gas station garage is where we're going to be kicking off.
If they get a crater spawn, you're going to see 4 go up north, and then you're going to see Smoils drop back and rotate all the way around south. Then they're going to slowly, over time, position themselves where they're just going to be looking for those picks at long range, and eventually they'll encircle on the objective. And a lot of objectives on this map lend themselves to being circled upon. There are a lot of objectives where it's easy to get behind the objective, it's easy to flank it and surround it. And actually, it's kind of interesting. This gas station objective is one of the only ones that is pretty tough to completely encompass and encircle. So it might work out in SMC's favor to maybe get an early lead on this first map, since they will be defending this gas station objective. But yeah, that's the textbook Beginner's strategy. You're gonna see it on this map. You're gonna see them take all 5 minutes to send Smoils and maybe another flanker around and rotate. I guarantee it.
Sleepy, what are your initial thoughts before we get in?
I mean, I hate to disagree with a man who guarantees it.
Yeah,
Guarantee it.
it's the Men's Warehouse
But
guarantee there.
admittedly, by SMC, they are more of a CQB team. Like, that's how they tend to play. They play better in those situations. They admit that themselves. Now, they've done a lot of great work on their quarantine game, and I've experienced that improvement even back as a player on Danglers before I left to become a mod. But they've really stepped it up even more than that in this season alone. So I don't know what to expect, really. I think SMC can hold it off. I think they do need to be kind of careful, because all that extra peeking and all that excessive rotating that they were doing on a map like Tanker is definitely going to get their heads ripped off here on Quarantine against the beginners.
Yeah, I think patience is going to be the key for SMC here. I think over-aggression will be their downfall. I firmly believe that beginners are, well, it doesn't really matter what I believe. It's almost a factual statement. They are far more patient than SMC is. And if SMC plays into their hands by making the mistake of thinking that beginners are, confused or struggling with something, and decide to be overly aggressive, especially on defense, I think they're going to get, their heads taken clean off. But speaking of heads getting taken clean off, round 1 is underway.
I'm calling the strategy right now. They're going to send one for a flank, and if they don't, I'd be pretty surprised. It would definitely be a change in how they normally approach these kind of objectives.
All right, Trip and Beefy setting up here in the center. They will be the closest to deal with the beginner's push, and as we see, take it a little bit higher angle here, as we see the beginner's offense setting up that firing line. We saw it on Tanker. We see it here as well. They're just getting as many angles down towards the objective as possible, and looking for anybody to make a mistake or make an undue rotation.
They're trying to cut off the map. They're trying to make sure they've got the 2 guys over here on the eastern. They're trying to make sure nobody pushes from the ambulance back towards the dunes. So if they can clear that angle, they can start to push those guys forward and slowly cut in the pie, if you will, and start looking towards the objective. Once they know that area is clear, they can start pushing those guys up, and their midline can move. And then they go from there. So, I mean, I see it, and here we go. Exactly as NightFiree calls it. Smoils is on a flank towards the east. Destination, the south.
I could hear NightFiree holding his breath until that rotation happened, because
I knew, I knew it was going to happen. Smoil is setting up in the middle like that. There's no way he's going anywhere but rotating around.
it looks like Kev is going to follow suit as he chases Smoils down that east side. And I see Woods, I think, just drawing fire. I don't think he sees or thinks anybody's there.
Trying to keep their eyes and keep anyone from really paying attention to that northern street cross, because that's going to be the key one. If they can make that one, they'll be a little of a surprise when they go for the south cross, because not as many people are going to even be watching the south cross if no one's mentioned the north.
Oh, Smoils has been found out. Smoils has to apologize because he is found out nice and early.
He's standing up in the fucking second floor.
Yeah, as language, Smoils. Trip, I believe, is the one sending rounds down his way, so he is going to have a hard time getting into the south without a little bit of suppression help from Rooftop, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening as Killinger sends a few rounds down towards Trip's way, and this is that kind of coordination we're talking about. He's keeping Trip suppressed just so Smoils can try to get across the street along with Kev. I mean, this is that coordination that makes these teams top tier. Trip's got to know that that's the bait. He's got to know that that's why he's getting suppressed.
Woods 43's made his way forward now on the eastern side. Wall break at the north rooftop. He's looking west. He hears the shots ringing out from Beefy.
He should see Beefy.
But he can't hear. Yeah, I think he can see him. Yeah, there it is. He can finally see it. He gets the headshot, too. Nice and clean.
Spot's dead.
And there it is. That's going to be the first pick for the beginner side. Now SMC down on their first defensive, not where they want to be right now after having lost that first map.
They're getting enclosed right now. The south push is still on. They're basically just encircling them. I'm going to tighten that noose in as the objective timer turns to 0. The problem is their south push has to come around faster. They've been held up for too long already, so that's where holding down to these last minute and a half starts to bite you, because if things like that happen and your push gets out of whack, your exposed push, or your held up side of your push is going to end up being behind schedule. And when that happens, they're going to have to start moving fast to catch up. And when they do that, they have to start playing things less smart. When they do that, they end up running out through the open like they know that they shouldn't do, but they've got to in order to get to their position in order to support the attack. So it's tough. We'll see if Smoils can actually make it without having to expose himself too much. Kev has seemingly turned a different route now here as they stack up on the northern rooftop courtyard. It looks like the push is on for an objective that's not there.
Yeah, they've got smokes in. Killinger's on the inside. Trip should be hearing these footsteps. Is he going to be ready for Killinger's peek here? Killinger's going to be the one that wins that out. And Trip is absolutely not ready for that push.
How did Trip not kill? He even shot the upstairs part of the stairs first.
This is really bad for SMC. Soda's in a really tough spot right now. He needs to rotate around and use those Hasco squares to his advantage, because he's super exposed to the burning building, which is now completely lost to beginners.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough. He did a lot of damage in this spot in the round robins, but he's not going to do that kind of damage this time as Icy Woods is ready for him. And now the push.
Smoils from the backside.
Yep, there it is. Pokecake's going to find the first pick there as Killinger goes down, but he's the last one left, and that's the kill on to Pwnecake and Soda. And that is going to leave Landon. Landon will be the last one. I apologize.
Oh, he's going to run out into the open. He's not going to give him the chance to cap, and Smoils will take the shots to find Landon, grabbing beginners the first point on the second map.
Oh boy, there it is. Beginners starting off pretty dang strong there. I don't know that was ever in SMC's sort of favor. I felt like that was beginners running the show the whole time. Did you guys get any other feelings on that?
Yeah, the burning build. It's something that I've seen that exact play 3 or 4 times. Like, that is beginners to a T. That's exactly what they do. They smoke the center. They invest resources to capture burning. Once they capture burning, they're in a very good position. And from there, it's you see the enemy trying to rotate and cover objective. But when you're at that 2-story in that middle of the map, you see all these rotations. You can get your free shots. It's a solid play. It's a good strategy from beginners. It works out more often than not, unless you deny them the burning building. Then it's a much different means of approaching the objective. So just not enough resources were invested in the center there. And losing, obviously, in the west was not even that detrimental, because nothing really came through on the west. It's just not enough committed resources to the center. And if Trip had maybe found a pick or two, just things not going into the way of SMC.
Hey,
yeah.
No, go ahead, Sleepy, while we get set on this round.
I don't really know what else I can say. I think NightFiree summed it all up. He called the play pretty much by the book from the start. I think the only exception was the supporter in Kev going with him, and then him cutting up that eastern tank courtyard. But I didn't expect to see the push stack up in the center like that. But it was a good play, and they kind of drove a chisel in and then wedged it and split it open from the center of their defense, and it was pretty interesting to watch that unfold. So kudos to a great play from the beginners. But SMC have got to find a gear here as we get into round 2. They're going to get a mirrored spawn. Everything's going to be the same, but how are they going to deal with it? Are they going to be able to get themselves onto that objective, or even get that cap? Ooh, Pwnecake manages to slip by.
Yeah, he's already on the inside middle here, but he's going to have a much harder time as Icy Woods will take up that position on the inside of rubble to make sure nobody sneaks across and tries to get that pick onto Killinger, just like Killinger did to Trip. So I think he's going to be here for a little while. If he decides to push up early, he's going to get punished in a big way.
Oh, that move right there was enough to almost get him killed. He managed to sneak by him because of the angle that he took on the opposite side of the wall, but him coming around on that side was not good, and now he's been called out. I'd expect to see a grenade come out from IC Woods here
More towards the west.
pretty shortly,
The east.
or anyone maybe towards that market. It looks like one comes out from Kev, but there was no real way he was going to be able to launch that one far enough to get it over to Pomecake's position.
Yeah, and IC Woods is the one. He is watching patiently for anybody trying to come around that east side of Rooftop Courtyard. Pokecake would do well here to just stay. Just wait and let the rest of the team, let the other 4 players cause a little bit of havoc in the west, draw a little bit of attention, potentially away at least Killinger's attention, and make it a 1v1. Right now it is a 2v1. Jesus, that nade from Beefy almost taking down 2 of his teammates. I just... Good Lord.
It's interesting to see the beginner's defense. They know exactly... Ooh, a nade comes in, but too far. Oh, that one catches Landon. But the beginners know that SMC is not sending a flanker. They have nobody covering the south. There's not a single person watching these streets where you have to cross to the south. It's a completely open gap. But they know on this objective, especially with that north spawn, that SMC is going to be too... I don't know if tunnel vision is the right word, but they're going to lock in on trying to push objective up through the center, and that's what's happening.
And here comes Pokecake into the middle. I think IC Woods is going to be the winner of this battle if Pokecake decides to mount the wall. He's going to go on the outside, but Woods will be ready for that as well. But Pokecake is going to win that out in a surprise pick, and beginners will be the first to lose a member of the defense here. And the smokes are in, but the push isn't through just yet. Pokecake checking another corner. Killinger still waiting patiently upstairs in that center burning. I wonder if he will suffer the same fate that he bestowed onto Trip.
If SMC plays this right and they can get the picks that they need out of the center and that south center defender, they can crash on that objective before the west defender can rush back. And if they play it smart enough, they can keep the attention of the guy in the garage completely distracted or entertained while someone around the corner goes for the cap. This could end up being a Hollywood play. They got 2 minutes to do it. They need to start making those motions now if they want it to be effective. They got to take Killinger out. That's going to be the key. That's going to be the linchpin to the start of this.
Early pre-fire shots. Pokecake gonna be waiting here till the cows come home, as Killinger has secured himself upstairs in that position, watching the doorway, and now Trip will be the one making his approach through, and Pokecake rushes in. All hell's bells, and Dr. Killinger will be the winner of that trade as well. And that is going to be a huge, huge pickup for beginners. Continuing to hold this middle with 1:40 left is going to be the absolute key. We saw what happened when beginners took it in that last series. Beefy sending a little bit of pre-fire down, just trying to mask the approach here as Captain Soda comes up, does find Killinger. Killinger not ready for that inside push, and now the middle has fallen. It is up to SMC with 1:20 left to try to make something happen. Beefy's gonna find Kevin. Landon waiting on the inside corner here will trade out with Smoils, and now it's a 3v1 as SMC finds the final kill onto Woods. No cap for SMC, but a round win nonetheless ties them up.
Wow, both teams trading Marsoc rounds there at the start of the second map. That is a good sign. Both teams ready to play, but SMC have to be the winners here. They have to take this map, or else it's going to be an all-EU final and just spit right in the face of NightFiree, who earlier said an all-NA final. And we've already seen that that's been proven wrong, but let's see if it's going to be an all-EU final, or if NA will have a representative in there.
Yeah, that was a solid overall play from beginners, or sorry, excuse me, from SMC. And it all came down to that center burning building. As soon as that was lost, everything went wrong. You know, the rotation from beginners, they tried to rotate, but again, when you have that control, you can pick off those rotations so easily from burning building, and it just really, it's the key to that objective. And SMC also able to capitalize and grab it, and then grab that second round.
Yeah, they really were, and I really thought we were looking at a cat play. I didn't think Kev was going to go down in the garage. I thought that angle would have been for Beefy, but he managed to snag it, and then Landon manages to see Smoils doing. Well, from the looks of it, he was kind of out in the open on the map on that far west side. So it looks like they found all the right avenues to get their way in. They just didn't have the momentum going through the middle to get anyone on OBJ and actually go in for any sort of cap there. So a great play nonetheless. They need to get as many rounds as they can right off the bat. If they can establish a lead, that's great. If they can't, and they have to fight it out and it's tied all the way to the last one, then they got to hope that the tiebreaker round, the round 7, goes to them on defense, because it's the only way you really want to feel comfortable in a do or die round, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have got beginners again. We're getting fast spawns non-stop here on Quarantine. A pretty rare sight to see, but beginners again very close to the objective, as it now has changed to...
I'm telling you, you're going to see the exact same play. It's not going to change. They're going to do the exact same thing.
I would love to see that, because that means we're going to have a
As he says that, Smoil starts his rotation off the north tank towards the eastern side, and it looks like he's going around for the far east flank towards the south.
in a play surprising no one except for Noman. No, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
But it is essentially the same attack approach for this objective, is it not?
You kind of have to do it.
Like 30 meters north.
Like, if you think about what it does, yes, it takes a long time. Yes, it's dangerous. But if you get a man across, you are splitting the view of the defense half and half. You know, at this point, the defense only has to watch what, like 45, 50 degrees in terms of rotation back and forth of a potential approach. But as soon as you get somebody to approach from the other side, you have now opened up a 360 degree possibility.
A whole new world.
Yeah, that. And that is going to make a whole lot of difference when it comes to making that final approach. And beginner is really just peppering, you know, really just peppering. I'm going to tune into Smoils' little link here. This is such an interesting, they're just running down the South Street, whatever. I don't need to be careful.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
It's something you can afford to do on this map, because the way it's been changed, you can actually get more land back there, and the farther away you are, the less pixels you are in the headset. So it's actually physically harder to see a person at that long of a distance. So he passed right past Trip. Trip was holding that street, but Smoils was so far back when he crossed, Trip didn't even see him.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah, it is a tough peak to make, no matter which headset you're running. But a lot of these beginners players are on the, original Rift for the tracking benefits, so their resolution is far lower than that of quite a few of the SMC
I
players.
think a lot of their guys have moved to Index.
I know Smoils does, but I don't know about a couple of the others. I think I saw some League General chatter about the tracking just being simply superior for a 4-sensor setup on the Oculus, and keeps a lot of guys on the older headsets. A little bit more suppression as Landon just continually rotates and keeps this west suppressed. He was actually taking some shots at an actual person that time around.
Let's start to rotate back from the far west.
All right, it looks like the push is stacking up in the middle again, and looks like they're going to run the same play right down the middle, Coach. The linebackers are set. The linemen are ready to go. Here come the smokes now. They're going to make sure their cross over to the fuselage is covered, but then they're just going to assault on Precinct 13. Here comes some... Here comes some more smokes, and here's the push.
But it worked, It worked. Like, there's nothing funny about...
Will it work twice, though?
Yeah, that's a better question. Trip this time a little bit more engaged, but no, he's still not going to win the trade.
They both headshot him.
Captain Soda finds the headshot back as he finds pick on to Kev there and evens things out just a little bit.
Oh, man, that's got to hurt. That's a headache punch if I've ever heard one. Woods 43 finds Captain Soda inside as well. Smoil's going to find Landon Jordan, and here we go again.
It's on the long
The push
peak.
is working.
4v2. Shots from Smoils coming out, just suppressing the inside of the courtyard. Gonna pop back into our Woods Brothers view.
Oh, Beefy's dead. Beefy's dead. Oh my god, how is Beefy alive?
He somehow managed to make it, tosses the nade out, but it goes too long.
Oh, that... Homecake will find Killinger. That'll be a nice pickup for SMC as they even things back a little bit in their favor. Things still a little bit hairy here, as Smoils has actually re-rotated. He's to situate himself over by the ambulance, looking towards the objective.
That's a great spot, honestly.
It is.
You can catch a lot of rotations over that wall.
Of the recent map update.
Yeah, I feel like a couple more of these walls could stand to have like a little divot like that where you can use it as
a little peeksy poo over the topsy poo. Yeah.
Somewhere where you can see, you know, still be seen from various hills, but...
Oh, the Woods 43 grabs Killinger on a lapse in peak from Ponecake. Now Ponecake's engaged in the south from Smoils, it looks like. But Ponecake will find the shots on the Killinger again, and a route of bad luck. Woods finds Beefy. Now it's last man.
Yeah, Beefy's going to be making the call-outs. Ponecake is in danger.
Oh, that's rough, but he finds Smoils. That'll be good for him, but Woods is going to...
Woods is ready for that push on the outside, and he's not able to rotate out fast enough. Beginners will pick up their second MARSOC round here in map 2.
Hello?
Yeah, lost control of the burning building, and things went south again. They definitely contested it a lot more, though. You know, they managed to find a pick out through the center. I'm surprised after the last gas station round that they didn't invest more into that center defense. But either way, it was a bit better of a defense against the exact same push. But ultimately, Smoils flanking, they didn't see it happen, so the call out wasn't there. So it was a complete surprise when those shots rang in, you know. And it's, I don't know how you really counter it, other than I guess you have to have somebody with a 4 times or a 12 times. You have to be able to see clear at that long range, and that's one of the only ways to do it.
Yeah, well, that's true. But at the same time, it's like, you just saw them run someone south. Why would you not have anyone just kind of, like, you should know that they're gonna try and come up from all angles. That's what beginners do. I mean, yes, we've seen a couple of times now where their plays kind of funnel in through the center, but even then, once they get secured the center courtyard area, they start to fan out again as they approach the actual objective area. They don't just stay centralized in that center zone. They move out, they spread back out once they've split that. So, I don't know. SMC played it well there, but yes, Smoils' position was a total surprise, which is a total surprise to me.
Total surprises across the board as our 4th round now gets underway. And we will see if SMC can keep the MARSOC train rolling, or if beginners will put their first defensive foot down and stop SMC from making that cross. Killinger does not make the shot, and there is going to be one at center glass that does cross. Beefy will be that player. Killinger does find the frag onto land, and though he peeks out towards that ambulance. Thank you, Killinger. Could not find the word for that vehicle that I see all the time. Smoils set up on the long angle for the north, so he has got the coverage for anybody who tries to cross. And now it is all quiet on the battlefield as SMC has to evaluate the way they're going to do this push. They lost their sort of point man there in Landon. Now south push is going to be an interesting one to make as Captain Soda rushes out, but Woods is ready for that position, and SMC down to 3 already. Only 1 minute burned.
Yeah, SMC not looking hot off the bat here. They weren't ready for this particular spawn. It is a tough spawn for this objective. It definitely isn't like the one that beginners just got. They were fortunate to be able to have the high ground coming in, kind of overlooking the battlefield, trying to get some early pick angles. SMC did not. They were on a mad rush to get across any street, any open streets they could before defensive positions were given up. And there's Dr. Killinger with another kill onto another SMC member in Trip there in the south. And it's pretty much all but done and dusted for this round. Beginners looking poised to take round 3 here.
Yeah, it's going to be another forceful comeback series from SMC. They're going to be forced into playing from behind, and quite a bit from behind at that. Oh, nice little frag there. Doesn't actually catch Icy Woods, but very close. I think he's tucked in on the pillar there. That's what saved him. Icy Woods sending a few rounds down that way. Oh boy. A dangerous, dangerous situation for Pwnecake. He's got to find his way out of it.
He dropped real quick, though. That was great play.
Ooh, and Beefy almost catching a nade as well. I mean, these positions are clearly known to the beginners. Beefy's going to be the first one, though, that finds a pick. And now 4 members remaining, but Smoils on the rotation of the rooftop will clean Beefy up and leave it all down to Pwnecake here. I don't think he has got.
Pwnecake's so exposed to both of those angles right now. He's going to have to check right and look left at the same time and be able to shoot the opposite direction all on one smooth move here, because the second he looks away, the other one's going to pop up and be able to see him. Pretty sure Smoils just popped up, saw him, and called him out.
Yeah, he's scanning the rooftop, but I mean, that is the first pick he would need. Too bad Smoils is long gone at this point. He's got 3 minutes, but really, like, what is the approach here? You know, what could you possibly do with this many up? There's no real distraction that you can make. He's got enough equipment nearby.
If he could somehow, like, find the right angle and manage to score a pick onto Killinger, which the way Killinger holds that angle in the stairwell of that central burning building is damn near impossible to root him out of without physically entering the building. So that's a super long, impossible shot. But then I would rotate south underneath the building and try and go up through the gas station, wrap around far west side. That would be probably your best choice of recourse at this point. You're going to have to fight it out with Woods 43 over there, but you might stand a better chance.
Yeah, this is an uphill battle for pretty much any player. I mean, Pwnecake has been playing strong today, but I don't know that he's 1v4 beginners on quarantine with 2 minutes left strong right now. And even he seems unsure about the approach he wants to take. And that's it. Killinger just needed that split second of him peeking around the wall. And beginners will take their first defensive round here in map 2 and be poised to take the series on this next round if SMC doesn't find a way to deal.
That was something interesting. Beginners, that angle that Killinger holds on the stairs is something I've never really seen. It's such a interesting crouched angle. You're completely, the only way you can get shot is if somebody else takes the exact same angle you're taking and threads that needle, or you charge in and you shoot him from behind, because he's completely covered by stairs from any other angle.
Yeah, it's a tough angle to return fire to for sure. I have seen them use that in the past, and a couple other teams have used something similar. In fact, I believe SMC had used it in the past as well.
The way he does it, though, you get up onto that
that landing.
It's different than other people. People hold the stairs, like people hold that area, but it's the way he holds it is unique, I think.
Yeah, that angle is not new, but he definitely is. I mean, his IK is tucked in. It's a tough shot to make, and you'd have to know he was there. That wasn't gonna go smoothly for anybody pushing up the ambulance side, but SMC there, I feel like they just split up too wide, didn't have sort of any idea of where the defenders could be, and then just got picked one by one. Really played into the patience of the beginners quite well, and just some really good angles. All right. We are now into what could be the final round of the series, but SMC now on defense, has to hold the beginners who get that very interesting east spawn. This could definitely cause a bit of chaos depending on how they decide to approach.
Well, the pre-fire is going to come out super early from the SMC side, as they're going to try and keep the beginners from making any sort of crossing. But of course, your boy Smoils at it again. If he gets picked here, that'll be big for SMC in this round.
I'm surprised Soda. He almost looked away from that, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He didn't make it all the way across. Smoils using that red smoke. You can sort of see here, just behind the reticle, and he will use that smoke to cross and be safe in doing so. So that is going to make 1 on the south, 4 here in the east. As the red smoke comes out and fire comes down towards Woods 43. Looks like he may have been tagged as he's not sprinting at full speed.
Let's go. I need to find back. Guys back safely here.
Oh boy, that is that's a lot of suppressive fire they got to deal with.
Yeah, it sure is, but it does look like it's made them kind of change their thinking a little bit, as Killinger has pulled the Woods brothers back off that south street from what has seemed to be their initial approach has now changed.
We're in a real long-range battle right now. Everybody is trying to hold these tight angles and look for super long-range shots. A lot of suppressive fire, smokes to cross streets. Now we're going to have beginners dropping back and rotating north. But look at this. Take a gander at your overhead. SMC also sending 2 up north as well.
It's a smart play. I mean, playing for the north is pretty crucial. If you can have Overwatch, you can see pretty much almost that entire kind of courtyard at the north, or at the central burning building. So holding that key point vantage is pretty crucial in my opinion. And I think since SMC knows that they haven't seen any movement or any pushing out of those spawns in that area, they're going to send a couple there because they know that there's a couple of very open crossings that they're going to have to make. And in order to do that, they're either going to have to waste utility or they're going to go right past their gun barrels.
Yeah, I mean, Tripp should have given them pretty accurate info on those crosses. He was sending rounds down to the north, so they should know 3 are up here anyway, which would definitely warrant a rotation to the north. Although I'm surprised they didn't want to capture it from the get. I'm surprised it required a rotation in order for them to try to hold the north, which I feel like for any of these objectives in sort of the middle area of the map, the north is so key. Smoils now pushing down. He's gonna have a bit of a time as Woods 43 keeps that rooftop suppressed. He's got to move. The return fire coming back from Landon Jordan does find one as Killinger.
I may have killed one on the north.
Will be the first to go down.
Well, the laser guided grenades have been stopped, at least for this round. No laser guided ordnance going to be dropped on SMC from here, though the rest of the beginners are well capable in handling their munitions. The Woods brothers are now continuing the push in the north, and it's actually quite effective. I see Woods manages to get his way up on the eastern side of the roof. He's got Beefy on the other side, but Woods 43 is also in the north at the red roofs, trying to make his way across as SMC balances a 2-man watch on this north front.
I mean, you take a look at this overhead, and it's chaos in every lane as I see Woods finds the pick onto Landon in the back, and now Beefy will have to find a way to deal.
Oh, and Landon was prepping a nade, so even if he would have been downed, the res would have been a kill. And all the Woods brothers work well together as they duo up on Beefy, and that clears the north watch, and beginners are clear to approach from the north.
That north investment actually biting SMC in the butt now, because having 2 extended out there got them caught out, and the flanks coming in might catch Pwnecake.
Yep.
Does indeed. Now 2 left. Beginners poised to take the series and the map here. If they can find the last 2 picks, Tripp and Captain Soda tucked in on objective, they are at a huge disadvantage here.
Yeah, if they claw their way out of this one, I will be quite impressed. But they are literally surrounded by all but one side, and There's 1 minute left on the clock. SMC in a rough spot here. They're going to have to literally hope for time at this point. Because that is going to be their best chance at a win without overexposure. The south look is clear. Smoils has moved back over to his position in ambulance. The second someone comes out that door, he's going to have a shot on him. They've got 50 seconds left. If they can manage to just keep their eyes and ears out. Trip manages to make it out the door pretty safely. He's got to find his way into a safe nook and cranny that he doesn't get his way himself shot. Soda's going to be looking for the frag. They've got 30 seconds left. The push is in. Beginners are making their move now. They're coming in from all sides now. Kev finds Captain Soda. Now Trip's all alone. There's 30 seconds still left. Trip finds one with the C4.
Well, it's almost finding the back. Trip rotates, but it's not enough. Kev rushes in, finds the pick, and Beginners will be the winners of the second round of the semifinals here today.
Wow. Yeah, my prediction totally flipped. Vikings coming in on that first set of matches and just really putting some great aggression onto the G-Men defense, completely overwhelming G-Men. And now we have Beginners here. You know, they had 3-0 on map 1, winning this one 4-1. The EU squads are certainly looking good in the semis, and we saw new stuff from Beginners today too. So these teams have been planning unique strategies just for these semifinals and finals. I can't wait to see how this Beginners Vikings matchup goes tomorrow.
It is going to be a really good series, I think, to tune into for sure. This, yeah, I don't know that I'm necessarily surprised. I am a little behooved at SMC's performance today. I would have thought they would have come in a little bit more prepared.
We thought the same thing for G-Men, though. It's like the NA seemed ill-equipped.
Yeah.
They just did not seem to be playing like they have been playing throughout the season. Is it because of the couple weeks break that they had while they waited for the Challenger Cup and the group stages to finish, or to get through the group stages, which is still only, you know, a limited number of matches. It's not like you're playing full series in those things.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, SMC looked so good in the round robins last week. I mean, truly, like on another level.
Yeah.
And they had good plays. They had decent setup, but they felt loose. They just felt too, you know, kind of seat of your pants. And I don't know that is necessarily the play style that gets them wins. And that obviously did not get them the win here as Beginners take that series. So I don't know. I don't. It was great Onward, but I'm kind of shocked that both of our semis did not have a third map decider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's so surprising out of everything, Noman. I think you hit that straight on the head. Not only the all EU matchup, because, you know, NightFire's prediction was literally flipped opposite of that, but just in general, I think we considered there to be one from each side, honestly, because both sides have brought teams that played extremely well in the last stages of the championship, and then also have been playing well throughout the series. I mean, I read the records off right there at the start of the game. It was like 13-2, 13-2, 11-4, 11-3. Like, you know, they were all right in that same range. So it was really surprising, like you said, that we didn't see a map series 3. I thought all of our games today would go that far. I think even the Beginners and SMC kind of weren't expecting to get started that quickly, even because the first one ended after 2, and then theirs pulls the same fate. So I don't know, but anyways, congratulations to the Beginners. They are our second qualifiers from our semifinals here, and we'll be playing against the Vikings again tomorrow in our what is now an all EU finals match. That will be a best of 5, and of course we'll be bringing you that action here on this channel.
Yeah, absolutely. You have said it correctly. But yeah, this is going to do it for us here today. I do want to take a second and thank our viewers for tuning in. Obviously, everybody, thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely.
Dropping those bits, dropping the subscriptions and the follows. We love seeing that. And thank you for all the clips that we've seen. We use that all the time. We do appreciate that. Want to thank our sponsors as well. You can see their little video looping on our scoreboard there. Pro2 VR and VR Cover for sponsoring the prizes for this league that the teams are playing for. and just for providing fantastic products for the community. If you haven't checked them out, please go do that. Yeah, again, congratulations to Vikings and Beginners for their victories. But if we have nothing else here, I think that is going to be Noman with a 4, Sleepy with 2 3s, NightFiree with 2 E's, signing off for the day. We will see you at the grand finals tomorrow. Do not miss it.
Bye.